They were asleep, moving through life in a haze of half-truths and borrowed rhythms, until you awakened them. You showed them how to rise, how to tune into a frequency that vibrates with clarity, purpose, and light. But elevation comes with a cost. Now their eyes pierce through the veil, and what they see is no longer shrouded in illusion. The world they once navigated with ease now feels heavy, tainted. Poison drips from the words of the dishonest, seeps from the systems built to confine, and lingers in the energy of those who refuse to grow. They can't unsee it. They can't unfeel it. The higher they rise, the more the toxicity reveals itself, and there's no turning back. They thought they had it all: a partner, stability, a predictable life, safe, comfortable, unchallenged. Then you came along. Not as a temptation, not as a disruption, just as you are. Your presence was enough. The way you move, the way you think, the way you see. It shook something loose in them, a quiet, nagging truth they tried to ignore. Now, regret is setting in. They expected romance, passion, a perfect love story. Instead, they sat across from their partner, staring at a version of themselves they no longer recognize. The conversation felt forced. The air felt heavy. Their mind kept drifting back to you. Not because they wanted to, but because they couldn't help it. You exist in contrast to everything they've settled for, and now they know. That love they once cherished, it's suffocating. The security they clung to, it's a cage. The partner they chose, a reflection of who they used to be, not who they are becoming. Control disguised as care, insecurity masked as love. Emotional drains they once ignored now feel unbearable. Every interaction exposes more truth. Every word tastes like poison. They see it now, and it's making them sick. They watch their partner, but their mind flickers back to you. The way you move differently, think differently, carry yourself with purpose, clarity, and light. The way your presence exposes everything fake. They never saw their life as a lie until you revealed the truth. And now they can't stop comparing. You don't chase. You don't convince. You don't try to fix them, because you don't need to. They have to sit in their own realization. They have to feel the weight of their choices. Growth is born from discomfort, and right now they're drowning in it. They chose comfort over truth. Now comfort feels like poison. And the worst part? They know it's too late. They used to feel at home in their circle. The laughter, the gossip, the inside jokes. It felt real, solid, unshakable. Then they met you. Your energy was different. Your words carried weight. You didn't just talk, you saw. And once they started listening, something changed. Now they can't unsee it. The fake smiles, the jealous glances, the subtle digs disguised as jokes. It was always there, but they were blind to it. Until now. Now, every interaction feels forced. Every conversation feels tainted. They sit with their so-called friends, but the energy feels different. Heavy. Wrong. They're realizing these friendships weren't built on love. They were built on ego. Their growth is a threat. The moment they started thinking differently, moving differently, the shift began. The jokes became sharper. The compliments felt backhanded. The warmth turned cold. And one friend, the frenemy, they can't hide it anymore. The resentment is written all over their face. The tension lingers in the silence. The energy is suffocating, but it's not just one person. It's the whole group, the whole dynamic. The foundation is cracking, and they can't unhear the whispers. Behind their back, they're questioning everything. Were these ever my real friends? Have I been ignoring this my whole life? The truth is loud, too loud, and now the poison is spreading. They start pulling away, canceling plans, creating distance, trying to breathe, but the group feels it, and they don't like it. Guilt, trips, passive-aggressive comments. little reminders of loyalty and history. They try to reel them back in. They need them to stay the same, because if one person wakes up, the whole illusion falls apart. But they've already seen too much. They can't laugh at the gossip anymore. They can't engage in the drama. They can't lower their energy just to fit in. So now they're alone, stuck between two worlds, too awake to go back, too scared to move forward. But deep down, they know there's no future in poison. It's either stay small or walk away. And the weight of that decision is crushing them. Some people feel lighter around you, others feel exposed. There is no middle ground. Your energy does something to people. It stirs them, unsettles them, wakes up something deep inside. It either pulls them closer or pushes them into retreat. Some feel safe in your presence, drawn to the peace, the wisdom, the clarity you carry. Others feel stripped bare, because around you there's no room for masks, no space for illusions, no way to hide from the truth they've spent years avoiding. Some try to match your frequency. They sit with you, listen to you, absorb the way you think. They start questioning their own patterns, their own choices, their own way of seeing the world. They recognize something powerful in you, something they want to cultivate within themselves. But the others, they resist. They feel defensive, agitated, threatened. They start looking for flaws, grasping for reasons to dismiss you. They mock. They doubt. They create distance, because being near you means facing themselves. The discomfort grows. They can't lie to themselves as easily. The distractions don't numb them like they used to. The gossip, the small talk, the meaningless noise, it feels hollow now. But the worst part? They can't pretend around you. Not anymore. Something about you strips away their armor. The false confidence cracks. The insecurities rise to the surface. They feel exposed, raw, seen in a way they never asked to be. So they pull back. They find reasons to keep their distance. The energy shifts. The conversations change. They used to be open, warm, eager to talk. Now they hesitate. Now there's coldness in their words, a guarded tone in their voice. Then comes the silence. They start avoiding you, not directly, not obviously, but the shift is there. The unanswered messages, the sudden busyness, the vague excuses. The people who once called you family, who once claimed to love your energy, are now ghosts. Then the whispers start. The side comments, the sudden judgments, the strange tension when you walk into a room. They tell themselves you changed, that you became arrogant, distant, different. They pretend they don't notice you, but their eyes betray them. They watch, they listen, they keep tabs in the shadows, because deep down they know the truth. It's not you, it's them. You didn't become different, you became clearer. You became a mirror, reflecting everything they don't want to face. You expose the contradictions in their words, the cracks in their foundation, the weight of the chains they still refuse to break. They feel the pressure to choose. Some step up. They embrace the discomfort, push through the resistance, and let growth transform them. They start making changes, thinking deeper, moving differently. They want more. They choose to rise. But the others? They fight it. They double down on their old ways, cling to what's familiar, hold tighter to their excuses. They reject the truth, not because they don't see it, but because seeing it means they'd have to act. And action is terrifying. So they lash out. They gossip, project, blame. They twist your words, rewrite history, paint you as the villain in their story. They tell themselves they're better off without you, that they never needed your energy in the first place. Yet they can't let go. They keep checking, watching, listening, keeping track of your every move, because deep down they know. Their world isn't the same anymore. Their friendships feel different. Their habits feel suffocating. Their relationships feel fake. Everything around them is crumbling. They try to go back. They try to force themselves into the old patterns, to find comfort in the things that used, to keep them numb, but it doesn't work. The ignorance doesn't fit anymore. The awareness haunts them, the knowledge lingers, the choice looms over them like a shadow. Wake up or stay blind, there is no middle ground. And now let us take a brief moment to honor the chosen among us. Here's to the ones who see the world differently. The silent guardians, the watchful souls, always awake, always vigilant. They don't fit the mold, and they wouldn't have it any other way. While others walk familiar paths, they forge their own, fighting unseen battles, illuminating the shadows. It's not for everyone, and that's okay, but if you feel it deep within, you'll know this is meant for you. No masks, no pretense, just truth. The Obsidian Inner Order is here, a place where kindred spirits gather to share wisdom, to connect, to transform. Over 450 strong, united not by conformity, but by purpose. If you're ready, you know where to find us. The link is in the description. If not, that's perfectly fine. Because we're always here watching over, making a difference in ways unseen. Here's to those who walk their own path, not for recognition, but because it's who they are. Here's to you. Thank you. The ones who ignored the truth are starting to feel it. The weight, the pressure, the consequences of their choices. Everything they once relied on is slipping. The distractions, the toxic cycles, the games they played, they don't work anymore. The universe is forcing them to see. The poison is everywhere. Conversations drain them. The people they once laughed with feel foreign. The relationships they clung to are falling apart. The lies they told themselves no longer bring comfort. The energy is shifting. Hard. They feel the discomfort in their chest, in their mind, in their spirit. Restless nights, racing thoughts, that quiet gnawing realization that something isn't right. They ignored the signs, resisted the lessons, refused to grow. Now the price is being paid. Their world is crumbling. The job they thought was secure, suddenly unstable. The money they relied on, draining fast. The partner they swore was forever, feeling more like a stranger every day. Everything is hitting at once. The karmic friend, the toxic lover, the manipulative circle. They're all spiraling, losing grip, watching control slip through their fingers like sand. They built their reality on illusions, and illusions can't hold weight. So they turn their attention to you. You must be the reason. You must be to blame. Their friend, their partner, their old connections wouldn't be questioning things if it weren't for you. If you never existed, everything would have stayed the same. The projection begins. They whisper your name. They accuse. They watch from a distance, dissecting your every move, searching for proof that you're the villain in their downfall. But deep down, they know. The truth was always there, waiting to be seen. You didn't force it. You didn't cast spells or play mind games. You simply were. Your presence alone made the illusions collapse, and they hate you for it. The karmic lover feels it the most. The control they once had, gone. The manipulation tactics, useless. Their partner, the one they kept small, the one they fed with fear and doubt, is slipping away. Panic sets in. They try everything. Love bombing, guilt tripping, promising change. But it's too late. The shift has already happened. The person they had a hold on is seeing clearly. The toxic friendships are unraveling too. The gossip doesn't land the same. The drama feels cheap, forced. Someone in the group, the one who secretly wanted more, has checked out. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, they're tired. The constant negativity, the empty conversations, the weight of being surrounded by people who thrive on low vibrations. It's suffocating, so they start pulling away. The group feels it. They sense the loss of control. They try to drag them back in, keep them trapped, but something has shifted. The spell is broken. No more illusions, no more pretending. For the first time, they see, but the poison doesn't. Leave quietly. It lashes out, fights back, does everything it can to survive. The attacks get louder, the accusations get bolder. The desperation becomes obvious. It's too late. They know the truth. They feel the toxicity in their bones. Even if they wanted to go back, they couldn't. The discomfort is unbearable. There's no escape from awakening, no way to unlearn what's been learned, no way to unsee the poison. They never wanted this. They weren't searching for answers. They weren't trying to grow. Life was easy in the dark, in the numbness, in the routines that never forced them to think. Then you came along, not by force, not by intention. You just existed. You spoke. You moved. You carried yourself in a way that shook something inside them. They didn't ask for this. The moment of clarity, the weight of awareness, the sudden aching realization that the life they once loved no longer fits. Everything is different. The conversations that used to excite them, dull, repetitive, empty. The people they once admired, small-minded, stagnant, fake. The things that once made them feel alive, draining, meaningless, a distraction from something deeper. It's everywhere. The music feels off. The food tastes different. The environments they used to enjoy now make them feel sick. Crowds drain them. Noise irritates them. Small talk feels like a waste of air. Nothing brings the same comfort, because it was never real comfort. It was sedation. It was avoidance. It was a carefully constructed illusion designed to keep them asleep. Now, there's no going back. They try. They force themselves into old habits, old places, old relationships. They laugh at jokes they don't find funny. They engage in drama they no longer care about. They sit across from old friends and pretend the energy hasn't shifted. But it has. It's unbearable. Something inside them is screaming. Every moment spent in the past feels like suffocation. The people around them sense it too. They feel the withdrawal, the hesitation, the shift in their energy. Some take it personally. The guilt trips start. The passive-aggressive comments slip through. You've changed. You're acting different. You think you're better than us. They don't. They just can't pretend anymore. They see too much. They feel too much. They've outgrown the conversations, the excuses, the toxic cycles that once felt like home, so they're forced to choose. Some embrace it. They lean into the discomfort, let the transformation happen, burn away the parts of themselves that no longer align. They let go of people, places, and mindsets that don't serve them. The others fight it. They blame you. They resent you. They wish they had never met you, never listened to you, never been exposed to what you know. Because knowledge is a burden when you're not ready to change. You see it happening. The ones who resist start spiraling. Desperation takes over. They cling to the past, even as it collapses around them. They double down on old habits, even as they feel the emptiness eating away at them. They tell themselves they're fine, that everything is normal, that nothing has changed. But it has. They can feel it in their chest, in their mind, in the quiet moments when there's no one to distract them. Some will surrender to the process, some will let it break them. Either way, the world they once knew no longer exists. This was never about them. It was about something bigger, something ancient, something written long before they even realized what was happening. You were placed here for a reason, not to fit in, not to follow the script, not to keep the cycle going. You were sent to break it, the illusions, the generational patterns, the karmic ties that have kept people trapped for lifetimes. That's why your path was different. The isolation, the rejection, the pain of watching people turn against you the moment they felt your power. It was all part of it. You were never meant to be understood, not by the ones still asleep, not by the ones clinging to the comfort of what's familiar. You were meant to be a disruptor, a mirror, a force that shakes people awake, whether they want it or not. Some see the light in you and feel hope. Others see it and feel rage. Either way they see. The universe is using you as a mirror. You don't just exist, you reveal. Every person who crosses your path is forced to confront something about themselves, their fears, their weaknesses, their hidden potential. That's why your presence is so intense. It's not just your words, it's not just your actions, it's your energy, the frequency you operate on, the way you move through the world, unbothered by the illusions they've built their lives around. They can't handle it. Some rise, some crumble, some fight with everything they have to resist the awakening you bring. Not everyone will make it. Some are too attached to the poison, too deep in the cycle, too afraid to face what breaking free would actually mean. They see the path, but they refuse to walk it. That is not your burden to carry. You did your part. You planted the seed. You forced them to choose, but their journey is their own. Their growth or their downfall is in their hands now. You were sent here to shine, to move forward, to elevate beyond the noise, the drama, the weight of people who refuse to wake up. You were never meant to save them. You were meant to show them the way. The rest is up to them. They tried to forget you. They couldn't. They tried to replace you. No one measured up. They told themselves you weren't special, that you weren't different, that you weren't the reason everything shifted. But something in them won't let it go. They check your page. They ask mutual friends about you. They wonder what you're doing, where you're going, who you've become since they lost access to your energy. Because deep down, they know. You didn't fall off. You didn't fade. You didn't sink without their validation. You rose, and that's what's eating them alive. They expected you to need them. They thought you would reach out, try to fix things, beg for a space back in their world. But you never looked back. They weren't used to that. Everyone else plays the game. Everyone else fights for attention, for closure, for another chance. But you walked away and never hesitated. That's why they're obsessed. They pretend they don't care, but they're always watching, studying, comparing, searching for clues that they still hold power over you, but they don't. That's what makes them spiral. They see you thriving, growing, moving in ways they never expected. Your energy is stronger, clearer, more untouchable than ever. And they hate it. Not because they want you to fail, not really. It's deeper than that. It's the fact that you proved them wrong. They thought you needed their approval. You didn't. They thought you would always be within reach. You aren't. They thought you were just like them. You never were. So now, they imitate, quietly, subtly. They take pieces of your mindset, your habits, your confidence, and try to make it their own. They copy your words, your style, your energy, thinking you won't notice. But it's not the same, because what you have can't be replicated. It's not a trend, it's not a phase, it's something within you. That's what frustrates them the most. They miss your presence, they miss your energy, they miss the way you made them feel alive. But pride won't let them admit it. So they stay in the shadows, watching, wondering, obsessing. While you keep rising, you've done your part. You didn't beg, you didn't convince, you didn't force them to grow. You simply existed. That was enough to shift everything, enough to make them question, reflect, feel the weight of their own stagnation. Some will rise. They'll take the discomfort, the realization, the newfound awareness, and use it to transform. They'll cut ties with the poison, step into a higher version of themselves, and finally walk the path they were meant to follow. Others will sink. They'll reject the truth, cling to the past, and drown in the very toxicity they once thrived in. The poison will consume them because they refuse to let it go. That is no longer your concern. Their awakening is not your burden. Their resistance is not your problem. Their suffering is their own making. Let them sit in it. Let them feel the weight of their choices. Let them watch you rise while they stay stuck in the same cycles, surrounded by the same people, drowning in the same energy that was killing them from the start. Some will resent you for it. They'll project, blame, create stories to protect their ego. They'll tell themselves anything to avoid admitting the truth, that you were right. But the truth doesn't need their validation. It stands on its own. So you stay focused. You keep moving. You keep elevating. You don't look back. Let them sit in their own poison. Let them choose their fate, because you've already chosen yours.